A lot of people ask me, where can I sell art online? Now the short answer is very simple. The best place to sell art online for most artists is their own website. For some artists, the best place to sell art online is saatchiart, Artsy, or Amazon Art. Now I know what you're thinking. There are a lot of other art websites out there. Art Finder, Devon Art, like stuff like that. There's just a ton of online art gallery type of websites. But let me tell you a little secret. Those art websites, like Art Finder, what they're actually doing is turning you, artists, into employees that will work for them for free, marketing their websites without anything in return. You should not use those websites. Okay? That's just like default from the beginning. You should not use those websites. Instead of giving you a review about the best sites to sell on, I'm gonna also focus on which business models you can use to leverage those websites in your favor. And then through that you will understand why Art Finder is not a good place to sell your art, and everything that is similar to that is not a good place to sell your art as well. Plus you will understand why most artists who don't use these business models don't sell anything on saatchiart. They're thinking about selling art online and they want to sell on saatchiart, but they're not selling anything because they're not using the platform properly. Now, one of the first misconceptions that artists have when they want to sell original art online, for example selling on saatchiart, is that when their art is good enough and they post it on one of these websites, that automatically collectors will find their work and decide right there at that moment that they're gonna buy that artwork. Now, I can assure you that that is not gonna happen. It's just not how it happens, okay? There is one business tactic that you can use where that will actually happen. We will cover that later in this video, but for the majority, it's not gonna happen. I've made this mistake myself years ago. And trust me, it didn't happen. Now you might say, but Dries, your art was simply not good enough. You just simply didn't have it. I do, and so for me that will work. Let me tell you the following thing. You can check it out yourself if it's good enough or not. But I've won several prizes in the past years. I've exhibited in London, Buenos Aires, Berlin, Milan, Brussels, and a lot of people think my art is actually good enough, Trust me, it just simply doesn't work like that. And this is the foundation of the business models that we will be explaining in this video, because when you realize that this simply doesn't happen because there are thousands, tens of thousands of artists on these online platforms, collectors are scarce. This notion that automatically people are gonna find you and buy your work, that just doesn't happen. And when you fully realize that that doesn't happen, you start to understand why some sites are better than other sites. Because if you want to sell art on those websites, for the majority of artists, you will be driving collectors, you will be driving traffic, you will be making the sales in the beginning. And so you will connect with collectors and then drive them to those websites where they can buy your work. When that is the thing that you're going to do, you have to be very thoughtful about which websites you're going to use. Because you're going to be inevitably in the beginning helping them. They're not going to help you. This website is not going to help you. And so there needs to be a particular potential upside longer down the road by doing that. And so when we compare all these art websites where you can sell your art, Art Finder, Saatchi, all of that stuff, we see that some websites in the long term have have a particular ROI and other websites don't. So let's talk about that for a moment. Let's take Artfinder. If you potentially drive that many collectors to their website, which is going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort, that they notice you, the best thing that might happen is that they think your art is so great, not with certainty, they think your art is so great, and that they are going to feature your art. And when they do, then they're actually working for you. When they're featuring your art will, instead of being lost amongst thousands of artists, your art will be featured, people will find it, and then people or collectors might actually start connecting with you and start buying your art. That is possible, but only if you're featured. And so we have to think about those aspects of online websites where you can sell your art. Which websites provide the most benefit when I'm featured? So let's think in the most positive possibility, like the best thing that can happen. They are featuring your work. Now, the difference between saatchiart featuring your work and Artfinder featuring your work, which is going to take approximately the same amount of effort from your behalf, is that on Artfinder, you will only be featured. That's it. On saatchiart, you will be connected to the brand Saatchi, which is pretty fucking awesome. A lot of collectors know that brand very well and they look up to that. And so the sales that will drive or come from that will probably be coming from more important collectors and more sales. On top of that, you will be having on, for example, art fair opportunities like the other art fair, you will have an insane advantage because a lot of the collectors that come there, they already know the featured artists. And so a lot of that real world benefit that will be able to come from there. Plus, on top of that, you would also potentially be able to connect with employees from saatchiart that are somewhat connected to Saatchi Gallery and perhaps other galleries, and there's just way more opportunity there than with Artfinder. You see? So when you realize that one of the business models is, there are 3 business models, by the way. One of the business models is you driving traffic to their website, making enough sales so that they start noticing you and realize like, hey, wait a minute, this person, we are taking 30 or 40% commission. This person has brought us so much money. Thanks for that. We want to give something back. Plus, his art is also in demand. Or her art is in demand. They want those particular pieces. They want to pay money for that. And so now we are going to feature that because then more collectors can buy it and we can take more commission and more profit, etc., etc., etc. Like, if you're going to be doing that business model, then you have to go for the websites where there's most upside when they are going to feature you. And Artfinder simply doesn't really have those benefits. You're better off building your own website if that's the case, or you're better off going on social media, like Instagram or whatever you want to do. Like, that's going to be a better option than trying to market yourself through or sell art through Artfinder. Now, in this first business model, you already feel that you are going to make a lot of sacrifices. You are sacrificing 30 to 40% commission in the hopes that they will notice you and therefore feature you, and then they will start doing some of the work, and then you will get a lot of stuff back. And that is why I said in the beginning of this video, the best place to sell art online is probably your own website for most artists. Because then you have that 30 to 40% commission for yourself, and then you can put your effort and time into finding real life galleries instead of driving traffic to those websites, and in return have some sales there and some real life opportunities, which is probably going to be more powerful. Now, there is an other way, a second business model that you can use that will even make it beneficial to use Artfinder or other platforms. And this business model is different, but it's much more risky, and you will have some benefits from their platforms right off the bat, right from the start. Most sales will come from collectors searching for particular artists, connecting with particular artists, and then the brand plays a huge role. There is, however, one type of sales, one type of buying process where collectors are searching for different things. They're searching for a particular specific type of artwork. For example, some collectors will be searching for naked models, because that is just true art history. That is a branded type of drawing. And so they will be collecting all types of nude models. And those collectors, they will be searching, for example, on Saatchi, they will go to nude models and then they will see which drawings that speak to them. And then they will, without knowing the artist that well, they will buy work. Now, if you want to play that game, you have to play a pricing game. You have to play a pricing game. First of all, your art needs to be really, really good. You need to be one of the best drawers if you want to, in that particular niche, drawing nude models. You have to be one of the best. Plus, your prices need to be competitive, because those collectors are not gonna buy on brand, which can justify your price. They will be buying based on aesthetics only, and so there you go into a pricing game, which is actually not really the game that the art world is. The art world is not a pricing game, but you could play that game and you could win and you could get sales there, but then you're gonna sell fairly cheap. And so the question becomes, will you get enough money for your time? Probably not. And so that's a sacrifice again. Like, you will be selling, especially in the beginning, you will be selling way lower than you should be getting for the amount of time and effort in marketing and all of that stuff. And so that is a business model that you could use. There are particular people that are just searching for decorative works, that are searching for works that are very similar to, for example, Rothko. And there are artists who just paint very similar things to Rothko, and then those people will buy blah blah blah, all of that stuff. But then you're playing a pricing game, which is a risky game. Okay? And in the beginning, it's a hard game to play. The third tactic that you could be using if you want to, let's say, sell paintings online. But you don't just want to sell your art, you also want to connect with particular people that are more equal than other people. Market mavens, sneezers, connectors, people like that. Then the best website to sell your art will probably be Artsy. Artsy has a particular traffic that is gonna be way more qualitative and way more powerful than, for example, Artfinder. And so when that is your tactic, when the sales is not your main tactic, but you actually want to get your art in front of those people that might make a difference in your career, then you're gonna have to go for Artsy or perhaps even Amazon Art. Amazon Art, I have to be honest, I don't really know the traffic types there too well. I don't know that game too well, but I've heard a lot of things about it, so I assume that is also one. But again, not like these random online art galleries that suddenly have like a website where you can post your art. Like, those are not going to do that. And that is the third tactic that you could be using, actually using those sales platforms to get in front of particular people. Now, getting into Artsy is not going to be an easy game. And it's going to be a game where you have to do a lot of relationship building in the real world probably to get there. But it's definitely a game that you could be playing. And it's definitely a good website to have your art on, no doubt about that. The fourth thing that I want to share with you is the following. If you're asking yourself how to sell art online, perhaps you should not be focusing on the selling part, because there's another thing that you could be doing that will generate long-term sales. And it's the online activity of art rental services. It's a very new thing, or at least the online part is a very new thing, and it has the potential to really penetrate and take a huge portion of the online art market. And it might be a really important thing for you to do. Let me tell you something about that. I actually recorded a video on art rental services that you could be watching. Instead of, after this video, jerking off or watching cat videos, I don't know, you could be watching that video on art rental services. It might help you out a lot. I'm just saying, And with that said, I hope this video helped a lot. I hope the question on where to sell your art online is solved, and on top of that you have some real ways and some real business models that are tried and true to sell your art online. See you next time. Take care.